Good Friday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. I'm your meteorologist, Jesse Peterson, and let's go in and talk about the weather for your Friday evening going into your future. We have some stuff that we are going to go on and talk about tonight, weather-wise. And first, before we get into that, as always, it's Friday evening. We have made it finally to the end of the week. Let's go and give ourselves a round of applause for that. Made it all the way here. And so we have the weekend now ahead of us, which honestly, if you've been tuning in for the past couple of days, you know rainfall is not really going to be too much in our forecast. But let's go on and see what's on tap for tonight. What are we going to talk about? Well, mostly dry conditions prevail under strong high pressure, as well as gradual warming trends accelerate, with highs rising from the upper 60s to the low 70s today to the low to mid 80s through this weekend, and then elevated fire weather concerns continue through the weekend, near records early next week under building mid-level ridging. So all of that is what's in the forecast as we get into the next like 7 days or so. And so we're going to get to all that. But first, if you have not hit the like button yet, go in and do so. We've had around a good 4 people tune in, 4 likes, so that's around where we are. Also, hit the subscribe button if you're new. We're at 726, trying to get to 800, and then share with your friends, your family members, your acquaintances, and anybody that you may not even like, because it's free, and I won't charge you anything for it. Now, what's going on in terms of our rainfall? Well, right now, nothing's going on. We're nice and dry right now throughout the entire state of South Carolina. But if we see what's going on throughout the entire U.S., we have some rainfall that goes all the way from Maine down into the Northeast, to Ohio Valley, over into the down to the Tennessee area, all the way into Arkansas, Missouri. We have some rainfall in Oklahoma, and even some rainfall over here in eastern Texas. We also do have some rainfall going on all throughout the West. I mean, we have rainfall going from the Four Corners region to the Northern Rockies to the Pacific Northwest to California, with even some snowfall going on in the higher elevations. But if you look down here in the southeast, dry conditions. Now, what's going on in terms of our cloud cover? Well, cloud cover right now is not really too much in the equation, as cloud cover is pretty much to our west and to our east and south and north, wherever. No cloud cover right now. If we look at this cloud cover for the future, though, going to push this through all the way through tonight, you can definitely see some cloud cover starting to move its way through as we get into tomorrow morning. This is 7 a.m. You're starting to see some morning clouds in the Midlands, inside of the Grand Strand areas, the PD, even the Low Country is included in there as well. And by the time you continue to move this forward all the way to around 11 a.m., 12 p.m., going into 1 p.m., you are still seeing cloud cover activity going on as it's kind of moving its way down now into the south and east off the coast. Now, as you continue to move forward into around 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9, you're starting to see again just more cloud cover, but this time not inside of the low country areas. I'm really just seeing it in the upstate cloud cover as we get into tomorrow evening. Then by the time we get into Sunday morning comes along and we have some cloud cover again, just trying to move its way over into the east. Now, by the time we get to around our current temperatures, we have around 61 in Somerville, as well as 61 in Charleston, 63 Beaufort, and 64 in Hilton Head Island, 60 Georgetown, Murray's Inlet, as well as 59 in Conway, 61 Myrtle Beach, and 61 in Orangeburg, 65 Columbia, 66 in Aiken, 62 in Florence, and 62 in Newberry, Greenwood, 61 Lawrence, and 63 in Anderson, 65 Clemson, and 60 in Spartanburg, Gaffney, 61 York, and Rock Hill. Now for our air quality. For the most part, most of us are inside of the good category, but there is a couple of us inside the moderate category for our air quality index, as most of us in Columbia, over there in the western areas of the upstate. But then as you continue all the way through, just towards the north and west of Florence, we have some more moderate activity going on to the north and west of us, and that's really just because of, obviously, I mean, it can range all the way from smoke to pollen to just anything else that's abnormal in the atmosphere. All that equates to air quality, if it's not normal air quality. Now for our low temperatures for tonight, we have around 52, Greenville 50, Spartanburg as well as 50 in Rock Hill, 50, Lawrence as well as 49 in Newberry, 52 in Columbia, 50, Barnwell, 52 Orangeburg as well as 51 in Sumter, 51 Florence and 48 in Kingstree, 50 Moncks Corner, 55 in Charleston, 58 Hilton Head Island, and 51 in Georgetown, 54 in Myrtle Beach. Now for our high temperatures for tomorrow, you have around 85 in Greenville, 86 Spartanburg, as well as 85 in Rock Hill, 86 Anderson, and 86 in Lawrence, 86 in Greenwood, and 85 in Newburgh, 87 in Columbia, and 86 in Warrensburg, 86 inside of Sumter, Camden, 85 Florence, and Kingstree, 84 Moncks Corner, 85 in Walterboro, 81 in Charleston, 80 Hilton Head Island, and 78 inside of Myrtle Beach. No rainfall is expected for the next 24 hours, so we are good here in terms of rainfall activity. And then if we go on and look at the crazy score, if you have no idea what the crazy score is, it is a score that we see how active our conditions are over here inside of the entire state. And right now we are at a 9. We're at a 9 inside the calm category, which makes sense. No rainfall. Temperatures tonight aren't going to be as bad. I mean, in the 50s, so not bad at all. Mostly clear skies tonight. Lower humidity. Winds are light. So this is honestly a pretty good night tonight. Pretty good night tonight. Now for the SPC outlook, thunderstorms are not expected tonight, tomorrow, or for Sunday. So we are good here in terms of any sort of thunderstorm activity. Fire weather, we're good here as well, so we don't have to worry about any major fire concerns. There always is that small risk, especially as we go into this weekend, just because it's going to be dry and it's also going to be hot, no rainfall. All of that kind of equates into the risk of fire weather. So, maybe a minor threat this weekend, but nothing major. Excessive rainfall is also not expected at this time, so you don't have to worry about that as well. So let's go on and talk about the models. Models, you have the time at the bottom part of your screen. Make sure that you pay attention to that. And as we start off here at 9 p.m., you go in and push this forward, and what do you see? Dry conditions all the way through into tomorrow afternoon. You get into tomorrow evening, going into tomorrow night. This is 12 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. You go into around 8 a.m., 9, 10, 11, all the way to 2 p.m. on Sunday. Dry conditions, no rainfall is going on throughout the state. Even if we go on and look at the relative humidity, you can definitely see how low it is as we get throughout this weekend. This goes into tonight. Obviously, it's going to moisten up a little bit as we get into tonight. But as you get throughout the daytime, that's the time we're really looking at. I mean, we're looking at real humidity values all the way down to 15, 14. So it's going to be down. And then even by the time you move into Sunday night, or Saturday night going into Sunday during the day, you're still down to the teens and into the 20s. So this relative humidity that we're going to have as we go into this weekend is going to really prop up that fire weather risk. Now, in terms of our long term, we're going to start off here at the 48-hour mark. And as you can see, obviously nothing's going on. You move through Monday, you go through Tuesday, you go through Wednesday, you even go through Thursday and Friday. And what do you see? Nothing going on right now. Until you get into maybe the next weekend, it seems like here Sunday, April the 19th, we have rainfall moving its way over to the east. And it could potentially be dealing with a cold front. So we could potentially be talking about a cold front trying to move through by the time we get into the weekend after. And that's what we were mainly looking at in terms of cold weather, seeing when this warm air would try to go away. And we're going to look at the anomalies, all that kind of stuff, see how that changed. But if you were here for the past couple of days, you know how there was a little signal of some cold air, then it kind of went away and it was looking all warm, and then maybe a little bit cooler again. So this goes all the way through Wednesday. Thursday comes along going into Friday, Saturday. And this is April the 25th. I know this is a long way out, but we're looking at some beneficial rainfall. Only like 380 hours later, but I mean, it's still beneficial rainfall. So let's go on and look at our temperatures. Well, as we start off here, 2 p.m. here on Sunday, go on and push this forward. Obviously, we're warmer than average. This goes all the way into Wednesday, all the way into Thursday, into Friday, into Saturday, into this weekend. And what are we seeing? We're seeing cooler temperatures trying to make their way through by the time we get into next week. And so by the time we get into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we have some cooler temperatures for sure. Trying to make its way through. Definitely not as warm as it has been. So cooler temperatures definitely on the table once we get into not this next week here, but the week after next week. So we'll be looking for that for sure. But for next week, warm. I mean, we're talking about temperatures 15, 20 degrees above average. Now, if we go on and look at the actual temperatures, we're going to start off here at around tonight, 11 p.m. You push this forward into tomorrow, obviously temperatures up into the 80s. We go into Sunday, temperatures back up into the 80s. Then Monday, back up into the 80s. Tuesday, we're talking about mid to upper 80s. Wednesday comes along, and then we're talking about really high 80s. And then we get into Thursday to where we're talking about potential 90s throughout the state. That continues all the way into the 16th. The 17th comes along. 17th has 90s. That's Friday, Saturday, 90s of not this Saturday, tomorrow, but the week after. Sunday comes along, 90s. So 90s are definitely on the table and looking a lot more likely as we get into next weekend. So make sure that you are aware of that. Make sure if you don't want to go outside working in the 90-degree heat, definitely get it done this weekend. Now, as we get into that weekend there, it looks like that we will have that cold front moving through. It will bring our temperatures down to the 70s, not too much inside of the 80s or 90s, but it will definitely drop us. It will definitely drop us. Temperatures will be right back to the 80s though, not too long from that time frame, and honestly, it may already be back up to the mid 80s. So honestly, I don't think that if we do get a cold, if we do get that cool down, it's not going to last as long as it may would during like the winter times for where it stays for a good little bit. Now, we're looking at it's summer. We're getting closer and closer and closer to summertime now. So we just rebound in terms of heat relatively quickly. So that's all that I have to say here in terms of our look at the long-term future. We have some stuff to talk about with the audience as well, because we do have an audience here tonight. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off with, let me go ahead and move this out the way. Mount Lewis, she says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. My name says, hello, Jay. A really, really, really nice day. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Mount Lewis also says, hopefully everyone had a blessed day. Well, I did. Thank you so much for asking. And then also, today in Georgetown, we had a beautiful day. Well, thank you so much for that weather report. Mr. Chris says, good evening, everyone. Hope you had a great day. Well, I did. Thank you so much for that. And then got to around 79 degrees here inside of Monk's Corner. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. And then Mount Lewis says, today's high was around 74 degrees. Currently, we're at 60. And then Mr. Chris says, currently at 63. My Nan says, we hung out for a good part of the day outside. Well, glad to hear that y'all got some outside time today. And then Mr. Chris also says, please remember to go and hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also share with everyone that you know. It's free and it helps get the channel out. And it helps get vital information out. Give the gift of weather. Absolutely. Everything he just said is 100% correct. We've had around 8 people tune in and about 7 likes. So, we're getting close. But if you have not hit the like button yet, go ahead and do so. Hit the subscribe button. Continuing our way down, Milo says, in Georgetown, it was a great day for shopping. Mr. Chris says, it was very beautiful here in Monk's Corner. Thank you both for that weather report. And then Thad says, good evening, Joseph and the 360 Weather family. I trust all is well. It was another beautiful day here in San Antonio. High was around 80 degrees. Beautiful sunshine. Glad to hear that. Mr. Chris says, I already got my grass cut today. And then my Aunt Lula says, wow, I will need to get early in the morning to do some garden work when it reaches 90. Absolutely. You definitely should get that outside work done this weekend if you don't want to be out in the 90-degree heat next week. And then Trail says, greetings, everyone. Beautiful day here. I went to the park and I took a nap. Such a lovely day today. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And that's all that I can see here. So let's go on and talk about the 4 areas outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, 4 areas outside of South Carolina, what am I talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why I talk about these 4 areas because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly, and because they tune in almost nightly, we go in and give them their forecast for them. So starting off with San Antonio first, you have low temperatures tonight at 68, high temperature for tomorrow 82, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 70. Slight chance of thunderstorms tonight, and also a chance of thunderstorms tomorrow and tomorrow night. Patchy fog is also in the forecast for tomorrow morning, so make sure that you are aware of that. In terms of your severe weather, excessive rainfall, for you, honestly, it does look like that chance of severe weather that was there is still there. It definitely is. You have a slight risk of severe weather for Sunday, April the 12th, 2026. So make sure that you are aware of that. You have a 15% risk of severe weather on Sunday. Other than that, you're done. In terms of excessive rainfall for you, it looks like nothing for tonight. Tomorrow, you're kind of close, but not there. Sunday, you have a slight risk of excessive rainfall. So a slight risk of excessive rainfall on Sunday. Make sure that you are aware of that. And then in terms of your future, it does look like that you will continue to be active all the way into next week. I mean, we're talking about a chance of rainfall every day through Wednesday next week. So make sure that you have that rain gear with you pretty much almost at all times as you continue throughout this weekend going into next week, as you have a chance of rainfall every single day. Now, in terms of your temperatures will continue to kind of stay steady, stay in the 80s. You may actually warm up a little bit as you go into next week, the week going to like end week. Now, in terms of Raleigh, you have low temperatures tonight at 49, high temperature for tomorrow at 84, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 55. No rainfall is expected at this time. Again, no rainfall is expected at this time. And if we go on and look at your severe weather, excessive rainfall, that's not expected either. So if we go on and look at your future, again, no rainfall. It will get up into the 90s, though. We're talking about next week, Tuesday, potentially reaching 90 degrees, even up into maybe close to the mid-90s on Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we'll see what happens there. For Philadelphia, you have low temperatures tonight at 50, high temperature for tomorrow at 65, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 43. Precipitation not expected at this time. In terms of severe weather and excessive rainfall, obviously not expected. And then in terms of your future temperature-wise, looking like that you are going to be rising up as well into the 80s, maybe even to 90 degrees on Wednesday. And then finally for Duncan, Oklahoma, you have low temperatures tonight at 61, high temperature for tomorrow at 79, then low temperatures tomorrow night at 62. No precipitation for tonight, but tomorrow there is a chance of thunderstorms, and tomorrow night heavy rainfall is expected. Heavy rainfall is expected. In terms of your severe weather, honestly, it does look like that you do have a chance for severe weather, not only for Sunday, where you have a slight risk of severe weather, but also Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So your severe weather train is getting closer and closer to you. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you have a slight risk of severe weather. And let's not even count out excessive rainfall, because that's also in the mix as you go into tomorrow, Saturday going into Sunday morning. Slight risk of flash flooding. Sunday morning going into Monday morning. Isolated flash flooding. Tuesday morning going into Wednesday morning. Isolated flash flooding is possible. And that's pretty much all that I have for you there. In terms of your future, it does look like that you will, stay active as you go into next week. I mean, we're talking about a chance of rainfall almost every single day from Monday. Honestly, I probably should say from tomorrow, to be honest. Tomorrow going all the way into next week, Friday. So you have a chance of rainfall every single day. And with that also comes a chance of thunderstorms. Chance of showers and thunderstorms every single day as you go into like the next 7 days or so. Now, in terms of your temperatures are going to continue to kind of rise up into the 80s, but they're just going to kind of just stay there. And that's all that I have for these 4 areas. So let's see what's going on right now throughout the entire U.S. weather news-wise. Any stories going on? Well, for right now, it does seem like a very active spring pattern with tropical concerns across the Pacific. Heavy rainfall will continue to impact Hawaii this weekend as well. Meanwhile, we continue to monitor a developing typhoon that may affect Guam into early next week. Then for the lower 48, heavy snow for the mountains of California this weekend. There also is an increased threat for severe thunderstorms next week for the plains and record warmth throughout the entire east. So, honestly, everybody is getting active now We're talking about all the way from not only just the U.S., but also obviously over into, or the lower 48, but also for over there into Hawaii, for Guam up there, and then also just for other areas as well. So that's pretty much all I have to say here. Fire weather concerns as well continue up there for parts of the Rockies, parts of the central U.S. Dense fog possible tonight in western Kansas as well. And then also maybe even a little bit of a fire weather concern, I believe this is. Fire weather concern over here in the Northeast from Massachusetts into Connecticut over into New York City. So, anybody in those areas, make sure that they are aware of the fire weather threat that goes on as you go into tomorrow. And that's all that I have to say here. Remember, we talked about it last night, but remember about the severe weather threat that goes on for the central U.S. next week. Make sure that if you know anybody in those areas from Dallas, we talked about San Antonio, we talked about areas down there. I mean, even as far south as Brownsville, Texas, all the way up through Minneapolis, Oklahoma City, Wichita Falls, Chicago, Peoria, Milwaukee. All these areas over here, Little Rock, Memphis, Indianapolis, I think is included in there as well. Let them know severe weather is coming for them as they go into next week. And that's all that I can see here throughout the entire U.S. So let's see what's going on right now throughout the entire chat. Again, that says we have not received any substantial rainfall. Hopefully it will come soon. I just purchased a new umbrella. I can't wait to use it. So yeah, I do believe that you will definitely be using it as you go into, if it's not this weekend, definitely next week. But it should be this weekend. Continue our way down. I don't see anything else. My Aunt Lewis says we can use some of that rainfall. Absolutely. Definitely do need the rainfall since we're in the drought. And then Mr. Chris says, everyone, please remember to stay safe, hydrated, going to be warm. Absolutely. Tomorrow it will. And that's all that I can see here. So make sure you go and hit those two buttons before you leave. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We've had 10 people tune in tonight, 8 likes. And then also top fans of the night for tonight. Seems like that it was a good competition tonight. But let me go on and count them up. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So Mr. Chris did win tonight. Mile Ulu was at number 2, and then Thad was at number 3. So congratulations to the three of y'all for being the top fans of the night tonight. Top fans of the night tonight. If you want to be a part of them, again, be here early, be here at 9 o'clock, be a subscriber, and be active. If you do all those four, you guaranteed will be at least top 3 and potentially number 1. So let's go in and give them a round of applause. And that's all that I have to say here for tonight. Make sure, like I said, hit those 2 buttons before you leave. And I will be back tomorrow morning for your Saturday morning forecast update. Also tomorrow evening for your Saturday evening forecast update.
Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. I love the way you walk, and I love the way you talk. When you walk that walk, and you talk that talk, you knocks me out off of my feet. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. How, 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 how. How, 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 how. Hey, hey. Bang, 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 bang. I love the way you walk. I love the way you talk. When you walk that walk and talk that talk, you knocks me out off my feet. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang.
Boom, 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 boom. Gonna shoot you right down off of your feet. How, how.
Hey, hey.